Guys, I got a few minutes. I want y'all to get in here. I got a few minutes. This is a very interesting topic that was brought up a few weeks ago at the gym. As you know, guys, like I said, we talk about a bunch of random shit. Me being the lead capitalist of talking about random stuff. We have a bunch of random conversations, at the gym. And one of the conversations that was brought up is about the seven deadly sins. I know most of them. I think a few is gluttony, greed, wrath, envy, pride. I forgot the rest of them, but for you guys that's Christian, you should know what I'm talking about. Or if you're religious, I'm pretty sure the seven deadly sins. Every religion has, a list of how you should live and things you shouldn't do. But I want to tell you guys, one of my gym bros, we talked about this the other day. I had an idea of what, like in my personal, anecdotal experience, I thought that gluttony was the worst of the seven deadly sins. I know if you guys look this up, I think Google says that pride, and it's understandable. Like pride is the worst sin because, like I said, if you think you're better than, like I said, who you worship, then that's not what you want to do. So like I understand the context behind pride being, the worst of the seven, but I thought the whole time, like I said, based on my personal experience, like I said, you guys know how I started off, as far as my weight loss journey. I mean, gluttony is definitely for damn sure like up there because, and you guys see this too, like you got what is this show called? It's the My 600 Pound Life. Like most of those people, like I said, I don't think their problem is physical. Most of those people that blow up to be like 600 and 700 pounds, like that's a mental thing. Like they need food to like compensate for something else that's going on in their life that they're not rectifying. But like with my journey, guys, like I said, and I'm very open about, like I said, my battles, things I'm going through. Gluttony is the worst one for me, and like that's really the only one. Everything else can get managed, and like I said, it can get appropriate. It can get managed, to not become a hindrance in my life. But like gluttony for sure, guys. Like, and I can tell you, from my standpoint, this had to been like 2 years ago. And guys, like I said, for you guys that's in the trade, you guys should know, like I said, once the busy season hits, I mean, work comes first. And like I said, you're going to be working 12 to 14 hours a day. And guys, I never really cared that much about my personal health because I never had a reason to, like growing up. So like, and guys, like I said, luckily, knock on wood, I never had a problem physically growing up. I didn't have any injuries. But once I hopped into the trade, I've been in this now since then in high school, right after high school, 17, 18. But guys, like I said, I never had any physical problems. And not under my, my adolescent mentality. I always thought, you know what, man, if you make your money, everything else is going to fall in place. And guys, that was the furthest thing from the truth, And like, once again, I'm very transparent about, my battles, things I got to go through, guys. But like, when I tell you, man, like about, was it 2025? This had to been like 2022. Guys, like my weight got out of control. And like, I mean, I was making money. So like, I didn't really care. Like, I mean, as long as my bills paid and I got, some type of freedom, like I can do whatever I want. And guys, it got to a point, man, where like shit started to hit the fan and like, I can still perform, do, service customers, do what I have to do. But like every single call I went on, every other call, like my back started hurting. I've been having like pain in the back of my leg. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't doing anything. And like all this came to a head, guys. And it got so bad, I had to go to the ER in 2022. And for you guys that know, the doctor diagnosed me with sciatica. It's like, like I said, once again, guys, I never had any issues growing up, but like, me being in the truck for 6+ hours a day, eventually, something's going to break in my body. And like the doctor said, yeah, like you're at this point, based on, the nature of your work, you got to find a way to like exercise. Cause like basically by you being sedentary, by me sitting down most of the time, driving to and between these calls, the doctor said that like your body is breaking down. So like, guys, that was like some scared straight type shit for me. And it got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Note to self, I had to look myself in the mirror. I'm like, yo, something's gonna have to give. I'm like, by me working until like shit 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'm like, I had to prioritize what I was doing. And I'm like, you know what? Work is always gonna be here. But I'm like, me personally, like I said, if I gotta stop taking calls after 4 o'clock and take my ass to the gym, then like so be it. If I lose money, then I lose money. But like I'm not gonna allow, I'm not gonna turn my life into a prison and like I said, allow my health to go down. And now I gotta pay someone to take care of me because like I said, my health is like out of control, guys. Like fuck that. Like, and that's that was a conclusion that only I can come to, guys. I don't think no one could force me to get to that level because I never really listened, because once again, guys, like I said, in my mind at that time, my ideology was like, if I'm making money, then like, I don't give a fuck about nothing else. Like, health can wait. But like, once, like I said, my body started breaking down, like I'm damn near limping. That's that's how bad that sciatic thing was. And guys, I got my ass in the gym, and like, so I started working, and like, it was an adjustment because, like I said, I thought I was losing a lot of money by going to the gym, 4 o'clock every day. And like, once I realized, like, shit, at that point, like, for you guys to have your own shops, like, if you do one call a day and make $100, and you do 20 calls making $200, like, that's where, not to turn this into, like I said, a business lecture, but like, y'all can essentially make the same amount of money doing less calls. It's all about, how you guys operate, and hopefully if your price right, it's not really going to make a difference. So like, guys, I had to get out of that, that mentality of thinking like money can solve everything, guys. Money cannot buy you good health. Like, I don't give a damn about, how you guys feel about that. I'm telling you from my own personal experience, that gluttony sin, that shit is real, man. And like, for you guys that's just getting in, I'm talking about the 7 deadly sins. I'm going to go over what me and a couple of gym bros talked about a few weeks ago, but I'm prefacing the conversation by telling you guys about, what made me lose the weight. Like I said, I'm down almost 60 pounds. Like, and guys, listen to this. By next year, at some point next year, I'm going to be under 300 pounds, guys. And I'm very excited. Health-wise, I feel great. I don't have any leg pain. I don't have any back pains, no physical ailments. I don't take medication. I never did. But guys, the fact is, man, like in 2022, it got to a point where, like I said, like I was in pain almost every other service call. And like, I thought that, what, damn, maybe I need to stretch. I need to do this. Guys, the shit got out of control, man. And like, I was eating bullshit, let's not sugarcoat that. Like, I didn't really care about fitness. I wasn't going to the gym, eating fast food, between calls, and eating fast food when I got home. Guys, like my back, like lower back problems, like sciatic nerves, like the back of my right leg, guys, was in like, it was crazy, man. Like I thought for a fact, I'm like, yo, like, did I like tear a ligament in my leg or something? The doctor was like, no, like due to, like said, the excess weight, you have to find a way to exercise. And I'm like, you know what? Like, say no more. I'm like, if something's got to give. Like, that was my scare straight moment. And like I said, guys, I've been prioritizing fitness. That was my primary goal for this year, and I achieved it. I was able to lose weight, and most importantly, I was able to keep the weight off. Because I already lived on my worst case scenario, guys. Like, I'm not dying in the dance. I'm not dying. Like that, guys. It's 1,000 ways to die. Shout out to that TV show from back in the day, 1,000 ways to die. Guys, there's 1,000 ways to die, but the worst way of dying is to eat yourself to an early grave. Like, fuck that. And I'm not telling you guys, what to do with your life or what you shouldn't do, but I'm telling you from my standpoint, the fact that I had to go to the hospital and the doctor told me, like, I got sciatic because of me being overweight. I'm like, fuck that. That was enough. Like I said, the doctor I didn't have to do anything else. The doctor said enough, and I'm like, you know what? All right, this is my wake-up call. Like, what am I doing? And like, I changed my diet, prioritized going to the gym 4 days a week, and like, guys, like I said, it was a mind shift as well, but like, I feel like, what led me to doing what I did, because it was easy access. You feel what I'm saying? And like, that's why these shows that you guys see, the 600-pound life, if someone has easy access to something, then instantly, guys, like, you're not going to think twice about it. I feel like sometimes you don't even have to be hungry, but if you have easy access to food or like bullshit, then like, of course, it's human nature to indulge in it. But like, that's where eventually, like I said, that's why, the obese problem is the way it is. Like, but a lot of people are not going to change unless something happens in their life that forces them to change. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I already had my scare straight moment, guys. Like I said, and that's how I always, I don't know how you guys are, how your life is structured, but like I said, whatever fitness and health, you can do to, like say, improve your life. I mean, shit, I'm not telling you guys to be health nuts, but like, I got lucky. Like I said, it only took that diagnosis for me to get my shit right. But like, within a year, like I said, the leg pains went away, back pains went away, guys. And like, you guys see what I do on camera at the gym. Like, I can do, I don't only do like maybe 2 or 3 calls a day. There's no need for me to run 12 calls a day anymore. Cause like I said, I'm still making the same amount, but like, I can incorporate, strength training, cardio. I do my hour of cardio every morning, but like, guys, like it's not a disadvantage of working out and improving yourself, because like, for like I said, if I'm doing what I'm doing, guys, there has to be at least 1,000 other people not really caring about their health. And like I said, you're gonna get shit is gonna hit the fan, guys. Like, you can take someone else's word for it, heed their advice, but once shit hits the fan, now you got to deal with diabetes. you got to deal with high blood pressure. Like, fuck that, guys. That's 100% on you. I'm not saying if you had diabetes as a kid from like, like that could happen too. I seen that growing up with one of my cousins. Like that's another backstory there. Like if your mom and dad had diabetes, like sometimes they can run in the family. But like besides that, like it's your choice. It's 100% your responsibility on living a healthy life, guys. Like, but back to what I was saying. But hold on, let me look at the comments here, guys, because I can get carried away here. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, man. Do it right. Yes, you got it, brother. Thanks for putting your health first. Yep. But check this out here, guys. So, yeah, I mean, but in regards to what I was saying with the 7 deadly sins, like, I mean, based on my gym bro, he said that he thought that, well, he basically said that pride is the worst one, and pride is the worst sin. Like if you think about it, if you put yourself above everything else. Now, guys, you do need a level of pride. I'm not saying pride is 100% bad. You do gotta have some self-esteem. You gotta have some self-confidence in yourself, but too much of it, it can really distort, people around you, and like you can really sink the ship. But like I understand the concept of why pride is number one. I thought gluttony was number one because that's personally what I went through. That was like the biggest hindrance in my life. But like what me and my gym bro was talking about, like it was me and it was like 3 other guys. Like one guy he brought up pride, the other dude brought up lust. And guys, lust is a mofo. Like I'm talking as a man, like I see guys ruin their lives because like I said, they can't control they can't control their hormones, guys. Like I'm glad I don't got that problem, guys. Like I said, to each his own. Everybody has something that they're dealing with. I don't live a perfect life. Like I said, you guys know, like I'm gonna show you here. I just came from reading up. I got like almost $300 worth of shit. You guys know, I got my 194 grams of protein every day. You guys know, this shit is a lifestyle, guys. Like, I'm just, like I said, I'm like, once you committed to, like I said, living a healthy lifestyle, guys, like this shit doesn't end. And I do this because I like doing it, guys. Like, I don't have a desired outcome, Of course, you want to be healthy, you want to look good, but like, once you start living a healthy life, guys, like, you're going to start to think about it, like, why the hell didn't I do this sooner? But anyway, guys, back to the 7 deadly sins. Like, I thought gluttony was the worst one. One dude brought up lust, which is a motherfucker too, guys, because lust, if you have kids with the wrong one, or if you just gotta, like, say, I'm talking as a man, if you gotta smash everything, I mean, do what you do, like, as in your early years, but like I said, once you get past a certain age, guys, if you can't control yourself and you're constantly, running, like I said, with a chicken, running like a chicken with his head cut off, guys, I don't care if you're in the US, I don't care if you're in Europe, something's gonna happen. You're gonna fuck your life up, guys. And that's if you got money or if you broke. If you got money, maybe you got a longer leash. Maybe you can spend $100,000 a month in child support. I mean, not everybody can do it, but eventually who wants to go through that shit? Like, it's just, and that's what makes lust up there as far as what, which of the 7 deadly sins is worse. But I mean, pride is definitely up there as well. You got envy, you got wrath, like, as well. But gluttony is a motherfucker because like my fighting stance on why I thought gluttony was the worst is because like out of all the sins, I mean, not all of them are bad. You don't have a good sin at all, but like gluttony is something you can control. Like it's not, of course, as human beings, we got to eat every day, but like eventually you'll know, like if you're not hungry, why the hell do you need to eat? And like I said, guys, resorting back to that my 600 pound life. Most of those people, like say, eat probably when they're not hungry. They eat because they're like most of that, guys. I feel like it's psychologically. That's not like, and that's what they need to fix first. Food is only what they covering up for something else that's like underlining, another underlining problem in their life. And like guys, like I said, I did it because for one, it was easy access, and like I said, for two, in my once again, my adolescent mind, I thought if I had the money, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. Like, why wouldn't I do it? And that was the wrong way of thinking. And like I said, it led me to having that scared straight moment in the ER room. But like, guys, I'm telling you, man, like with the gluttony thing, like, I had to get different perspectives as well. Like, I feel like lust is above gluttony because like, guys, like I said, the worst thing you could kill yourself from being too big, and you can ruin your life financially, if you can't control your lust. But like, the food aspect is 100% in your control. Like, there's kids starving every day, and there's kids that's 300 pounds at 5 years old. So it's like, but like I said, guys, I'm trying to be as realistic as I can based on my personal experience. what I eat is 100% in my control. Like, and I'm gonna give you guys some free game here. 2,000 calories. Look at that like money, guys. You right now you have $200,000. You have $2,000 in your pockets right now. You can only spend $2,000. Do not overspend it. You got $2,000 to spend. Most of the time, guys, like I said, and like this is just, I'm pretty sure everybody does it, but for you guys that don't know, if I got 2,000 calories to eat, I'm not going to eat 2,000 calories in the morning. I'm going to slice it down. Like, so I might have 500 calories in the morning, 500 for lunch, and I'm going to have 1,000 calories during dinner. So like, regardless, like you're not going to go to sleep hungry. You get what I'm saying? But like, thinking about calories like money, guys, like you'll never go wrong. I'm at like 1,800 calories a day, and I'm like, guys, I think about this shit all the time. I'm like, how the hell did I survive eating like shit and like not working out? And I'm like, I'm very grateful that, like I said, I didn't have any diabetes or high blood pressure. I'm like, guys, I never had any health problems growing up, so like that led me to be more naive towards like I'm a go to the gym when I feel like going to the gym, guys. But now, once shit hit the fan, man, like that's when, I had to really, I had to look at myself in the mirror, like, yo, like, money, having money is good, but like, I'm not trying to be that person, like I said, with a loaded bank account, but behind closed door. I'm taking medication for high blood pressure. I'm taking medication for like, nah, fuck that, guys. Like, that's not the type of life you want. And like, I'm not sure why a lot of people don't talk about this, but like I said, guys, I don't have a perfect, and I don't have anything I'm trying to portray. The only thing I'm trying to make sure you guys understand, like, from my personal standpoint, gluttony is a motherfucker, but like, I really think that, like I said, between lust and pride is like I said, pride, if you do it in moderation, if you got self-confidence in yourself, someone's always going to find some way to hate on you. Like that's common, that's common law there. But like, I mean, lust is in your control, but like, it's human nature. Like I said, guys, I can't tell you how to suppress any of the 7 deadly, because everybody's dealing with those 7 sins one way or another, guys. If you're not dealing with those 7 deadly sins, then like, you might not be alive. You might be dead in the cemetery. But like, all I'm saying, guys, is like, I gotta probably put lust above pride, because like, based on like my situation growing up, if you didn't believe in yourself, like 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna be dead or in jail. Like, it really takes a level of self-confidence to be anything like moderately successful. I'm not even gonna say successful. I'm gonna say to even be on the path of changing life. No one's gonna pull you by the coattail and say, hey, here's what you need to do. No. And guys, I mentioned this in previous videos. Like, I mean, pride is a good thing, but like, you have to do it in moderation. That's why it comes down to who you listen to, and like I said, really what you believe in and what you want out of life for yourself. Like, that would really determine, your course and where you want to go at, but like, prime example in California, like, and guys, I didn't notice this, growing up, we all seen Boys in the Hood. We seen all these hood documentaries like Menace to Society. It's crazy, and like, this is why, like, as you get older, you can't judge people, because you never know how people grew up or what influenced them, like, at an early age to make them think and say the things they do now. Like, and the guys, for you guys that's on the West Coast in California, like, the thing about like the gang culture and shit like that's out there, guys, like, you got kids. I'm not saying teenagers, I'm saying kids. Like, you got kids growing up out there. If your mom and dad was a gangbanger and your uncle and aunt was a gangbanger, all you seen was, like I said, gangs, people shooting. Like, I'm saying, as a kid, you seen this in your head. As you get older, if that's all you know, it's gonna be hard for someone growing up to erase that memory from their mind. Like, eventually, as you get older, I'm advocating, like I said, for someone knowing right from wrong. But like, as you get older, like I said, it's on you to really decipher, okay, this is what I shouldn't do, or I'm gonna be dead in jail, or this is what I should do, even if, I get no recognition. Like, the fact that I'm a free person, the fact that I don't have the police calling me and harassing me, like, that's the life you should want. But like, who am I to say that to somebody that grew up, as a kid, like in a family full of gangbangers? Your perspective is going to be slightly different. And I'm not saying those are bad people, but like, seeing that, we only, like, for you guys, for people that's not in California, we only know what happens. I hate to say it, if somebody makes the news, or if a hit movie comes out about gang culture, but the people that's like living that day by day, if that's the only life they know, guys, like, that's their perspective on it. And like, what's crazy is that, like I said, someone that's in Jersey or someone that's in Texas could be doing a totally same thing, but in a different perspective. If they had a family full of doctors and lawyers, even if they don't want to be a doctor or lawyer, if they seen that growing up, instinctively they're going to develop those habits of what they've seen around them. And like, that's why I always say, guys, you can have a good mentality, but you have to be in the right environment too. Like, if you're around people that's not trying to better themselves, like, it's not really, eventually you're going to start to take your foot off the gas pedal. And I've seen that happen before too, guys. Like, eventually, like I said, eventually you're going to start thinking like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, man, I'm gonna chill today. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this next month. You know what, I'm gonna do this next year. And guys, you look up and now 5-6 years pass, and like, and that's one thing I tell you right now, guys, from my personal experience, regret is the worst thing you can feel. I know the pain of loss, failure, criticism, fuck all that, guys. The pain of regret, knowing that you should have been doing something, like I'm saying 5 years ago, like if I would have fucked around and like took my foot off the gas pedal, there's no way I can live with that much regret of me knowing I should have went hard and I should have been, like, say, handling business, but I didn't. And I know people live with that all the time, and like, and that's why, like, I made a vlog a few months ago about that mental health thing. Like, like, eventually, guys, like, that regret does, regret is painful, but eventually, you have to learn from your mistakes or what you should have did or what you didn't do. But like, eventually you strive to get better, and like, that's why, like, you can't have a microwave mindset. You're gonna fuck up a lot. You're gonna make mistakes, but eventually, like I said, if your goal in 2026 is to be better than what you was this year, eventually around this time next year, I don't care what it is, whether it be a health goal, finance goal, or like I said, some type of spiritual goal, like if you're not worrying or you're not doing some things that gets you in trouble, regardless of what that small goal is, guys, that's progress. Like I said, if you can get to it, but like, you do it in small increments, and eventually, like I said, that's how the universe helps you out. The universe, I feel like, helps things that's already in motion. Like, it doesn't help people that's crying online, asking for someone to pay their rent. Like, nah, like, fuck out of here, But guys, like I said, I just wanted to get on here to talk with y'all just about these 7 deadly sins. Like, I want to know what y'all think about the 7 deadly sins. Like, which one of the 7 you think is worse for you guys? And I said this earlier, I don't know if the 7 deadly sins are in every religion. I know with Christianity, it's definitely in there as far as like the 7 deadly like sins of what you shouldn't do. But like, I think the 7, I know most of them is gluttony, is greed, is wrath, is lust. I think pride is up there too. I forget all 7, but I know the ones that we talked about at the gym is pride, is lust, and I brought up I brought up gluttony because, like I said, that's why I'm going to the damn gym, to lose weight. So like, I know how gluttony is. Like I said, if you don't prioritize your health, like you said, shit is gonna hit the fan, and not a lot of people survive it, guys. Like, if I would have had some type of serious health condition, I probably would have had to hang my boots up, guys. I probably would have to, like, really, that's how bad it could have been, guys. Like, and like, I'm very glad that everything happened the way it did. I got my wake up call, but like, I want to know what y'all think in regards to the 7 deadly sins. Like, if I had to choose one, I'm choosing lust over pride, because like, guys, like I said, you seen what happened with Shannon Sharp. You seen what happened with that college coach from Michigan. Was it Michigan State or Michigan? And guys, like I said, we only know based on what we've seen. Like I said, but if you get past a certain level financially, bro, you should have a certain mentality of what to do and what not to do. Like I said, and that's one thing me and my gym bros was talking about. Like, and guys, like, not to get too far off topic, but like, we brought up the Michigan guy. Like I said, I don't know what happened, guys. Like I said, he was already married, and he got caught chasing the box, and like I said, he basically fucked up the bag. He had a nice size contract. I think he was only there for like a year, but chasing the cat, guys. He like I said, I don't know if he did that before, or what the fuck he thought the desired outcome was from doing that. But like, what me and my gym bros brought up, he was like, yo, like, if he was broke and he was doing that, will it still be an issue? Most likely not, guys. Like, if that Michigan guy was like a student there, he probably can do whatever the fuck he want. But I feel like his stature, by him being a head coach, like, by him not knowing how to control lust, and like, I'm pretty sure he did. He just didn't think he was gonna get caught. But like, and like, he tried to plead insanity, but like, we was all like, bro, it's too late. You already cooked. You can't plead. That insanity shit don't work, bro. Like, you wasn't insane enough to step out. But I'm like, you already got the bag. Like, just don't fuck it up. Like, but guys, like, on the outside looking in, it's easy to say like, yo, like, you already got the bag. But like, guys, like, you never know how people's mind is wired. Like, that's why I encourage every one of you guys to like just try to understand human nature. I'm not saying to take advantage of people, but just understand what makes people do certain things. Like, and I feel like it's interesting because, like I said, someone can easily say, you know what, man, not having money is less problems. You don't have no responsibilities. Well, technically, you do have problems because, like I said, everything costs. Like, and I feel like it would be stupid of me or you to think that, everything in life is free. Like, at least unless you want to live like a criminal. Like I said, have at it. But like, you do have a responsibility to stay on top of your finances. But like, bro, like, you see this happening every year though. Like with dudes getting caught up. I'm talking like multimillionaires, Tyreek Hill. Like, it's just like, bro, like past a certain point, man, it's like, yo, like, what are you doing? But like, once again, like the same thing I told y'all, like I wasn't listening to nobody about my weight because, like I said, I thought, money trumps everything. But like, maybe some dudes feel the same way with lust as well. They think as long as they got money, they can run through whoever. But like, man, like at this point, guys, like I said, man, it's a wicked world that we live in out here, and I don't really see it changing. Like, they can make laws up, like I said, ABC, but like God, like I'm saying from a God standpoint, lust is one hell of a drug, guys. And like, you understand, they say sex sells or whatever the case is, but like, I don't think money can really protect you from lust. I feel like that has to be already ingrained in your head. And not like, guys, we're living in the world now of like the internet. Everybody see other dudes fucking their life up by trying to run through everything. Like I said, I'm not telling anybody what to do or what not to do, but it's just like, yo, like the point is to either learn from your situation or learn from other people's mistakes. But like, this isn't the 1990s. Like, I feel like every single year, someone's getting caught up in a scandal and like losing their shit just due to, like I said, them not knowing how to control themselves. And like, maybe it's not so easy for other people, guys, but like the fact that, like I said, it's happening that often, and I feel like it's been happening, but now, with the internet, with the day that we're living in, like it's a lot more prevalent. But like, pride, like that's why I want to, like, if you look this up on Google or Chat GPT, they're going to tell you pride is the worst one because it blocks, like I said, it blocks if you put yourself over God. And like I said, that's not how it's supposed to work. And I understand that, but like the day and age that we living in, I don't think pride is the problem. I think the issue is like most dudes starting off in the hole, like it's having 12 kids before they have 12,000 before they had $12,000. Like, and like, guys, like I said, I can only be real with you. Like, I don't understand the ideology of, like I said, having kids without first having a plan of how to take care of them. But like, what do I know, guys? Like I said, the old saying is true. A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's mistakes, guys. I seen grown ass men. I seen cats I went to high school with. Like I said, if you have too many expenses in your life before you have income, I don't know how the fuck that works, guys. Like, I'm looking at this in black and white. I'm looking at this, and I'm not saying a kid is an expense. I feel like kids are a great thing, but like, bro, like eventually, you have to like turn the light bulb on in your mind, like understand that, like, if you start incurring, monthly expenses without income, like how are you gonna survive? Like, you can't survive off hope. Like, and it like I said, guys, I don't know. Maybe common sense ain't so common, guys, but like, I'm not saying dudes just at the bottom. I'm saying multi-millionaires in the NFL, NBA. Like it happens every single year, of dudes, like I said, fucking up their whole careers over scandals, man. And it's just like past a certain amount, guys. I'm saying financially, you should have some type of protection of like, okay, you know what? I need to shield myself from this. Let me make sure I'm rolling with the right people. I'm not trying to be seen doing, like, you get what I'm saying? But that's how it should be, but guys, like I said, it's a wicked world that we live in right now. Like, everybody's out to try to find angles on people. I'm saying, like, celebrities, to try to expose them and try to extort them. Like I said, I mean, I don't know what happened with Shannon Sharp with that nightcap, but one of my gym bros said that I think right after that happened, he had to sell off his podcast. I don't know if it was the nightcap or the or Shay Shay thing, but like, I know he was in line to get a bag from ESPN, but it's just like it's like I said, guys, like I hope everybody learned from that. And it's case studies every single time, guys. This shit has been going on since the beginning of humanity. Like I said, like lust in general, man. Like, I'm not telling someone what to do or what not to do with their own hormones, but it's like, guys, it's a crazy game, and I'm telling you, man, I don't feel like it's gonna get any better. I'll be damned if I put all the time in and work in to be financially free, and now I'm gonna throw it down the drain for what? Like, fuck that. Like, guys, and like I'm gonna end this like this, guys. Like, the goal is to be financially free. If someone, like I said, guys, the day and age we're living in, everybody has opinions, everybody got negative shit to say. if you financially free, guys, that should give you some piece of not running the rat wheel. Like I said this in previous videos, that Mendoza line, meaning if you have way more than, like I said, what you need to pay your bills. I didn't always, like I said, how I grew up, guys, we all grew up paycheck to paycheck. There's a lot of people living below that Mendoza line, meaning you one paycheck away from, like I said, disaster. But if you're fortunate enough, and like I said, you put enough work in to get past that Mendoza line, don't fuck it up. Like, it's that simple, you know? Like, it's not gonna be easy, but like, everybody's a work in progress, you know? Like, I'm a work in progress, but it's like, always try to be better. And like I said, guys, like, you can't really go wrong, but like, the goal should be, once you achieve financial freedom, and like I said, you know, you don't owe anybody shit, keep it that way and just live out your life. Because like I said, like, everybody not gonna be here forever. Like I said, you know, shit, as a black man, you'll be lucky to make it to 60 before, like I said, you know, high blood pressure kick in and like XYZ kick in. But like, shit, you know, the fact that, like I said, as you get older, you should appreciate life more. You got to start understanding things from a grander aspect. You know, you can't move with emotions all the time. You know, it's always gonna be something to argue about or something to disagree with. You know, I'm saying from somebody disagreeing with you, somebody arguing with you. But like, I told my barber the other week, I'm like, man, I'm at the point in my life, guys, it's all about peace and happiness, man. Like, all that bullshit arguing, I ain't trying to argue with nobody. I ain't trying, like, it is what the fuck it is, guys. I'm like, I had to see a bunch of bad things for me to get to this level. But like, I think most of y'all that follow my page, I know most of y'all are like within the same age ranges as me. I'm 33. I know most of y'all are like in your late 20s, early 30s. But guys, I want to say, based on your age, as the older you get, you should start appreciating life from a different lens than you did when you in your early 20s. And like, I mean, it's 40 and 50-year-old guys still wilding out. I mean, do you? But like, when you get past a certain age, like I said, especially if you got something to lose, you need to just start valuing things a little bit more. And like I said, once you reach that level of, like I said, financial freedom, then like, you got to move different. You just can't be out, you know, and about, you know, potentially, like I said, throwing your life away, hanging out, like I said, with the wrong crowd. Is like, and like I said, guys, this is basic things, but maybe it's not so basic because, like, you know, it's going to happen every year. Someone's going to get a bag and they're going to go crazy. And then, like I said, you know, they're going to end up, you know, with someone taking half their shit, or like I said, you know, they're going to end up, you know, high on drugs, or like I said, you know, it happens every time with the lottery, guys. Perfect example. If you give too much money to somebody that's not there mentally, you know, that's going to accelerate their path straight to hell. Like, that's exactly how it works, you know. With people that hit the lottery, most of them end up broke again shortly after. But it's just like, you know, you got to get there mentally first before anything. Just make sure you're in control of your emotions. Make sure you're in control of your thinking. And like I said, guys, everything else will follow. You know, you just got to keep it positive. But most importantly, just stay away from the bullshit. And like I said, the everyday propaganda that they push, you know, it's just like, they expect us to care about like racism and politics all the time. Like, I'm not saying the world is a perfect place, but it's just like, there's only so much you can control before, like, now it's like, what, like every day I'm waking up hating Trump or hating Democrats. Like, guys, like, that's why, like, I'm more so like an independent with politics, because like I said, I feel like the more you look into like either side, you're gonna see corruption. And like, I feel like most people, like, as soon as you bring up Democrat or Republican, that's when they start, like I said, guys, that's why I don't really get into the back and forth arguing, because like I said, it gets to a point where, like, as an adult, you know, I'm saying, assuming you guys are over 18, once you reach a certain age, guys, everything falls in your lap. You know, if you take accountability, then you really don't have nothing, you don't have anything to blame other people for. And like, that's why, you know, I'm telling you guys, like, working on having a positive mind, you know, like I said, having a productive mind. Like, I'm not just sitting around waiting, praying all the time. Like, and I'm not saying prayer doesn't help, but like, eventually you have to stay in motion. Like, and once you work on yourself past a certain point, I feel like more positive things will start to navigate towards you. Once again, you know, things happen. Well, good things happen to people that's already in motion. Like, you just can't wait around hating on somebody. Oh yeah, he told me this, she promised me that. Like, nah, like, past a certain age, like, everybody, you know, everybody's in their own life. You feel what I'm saying? But it's just like I said, I just don't understand, like, just negative people, man. Like, and like I said, you know, you're gonna have your days where, like I said, shit doesn't go your way, but it's just like, eventually you have to, like I said, you gotta really be your hero in your own story. Like, I don't think people get saved as much as, like I said, what people make it out to believe. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can definitely cry, and like I said, you can take the opposite route, and like I said, start making sympathy videos. I mean, that could that could get you a lot of likes, but like I said, eventually, like I said, people don't really respect people that just try to always look for the easiest way out, man. It doesn't work like that, you know. Like that's why I always advocate, you know, take the other path, you know, the path not taken. That's gonna be through grinding, man. And like I said, consistency. Like I said, you're gonna learn a lot of values and principles, really building yourself up. But once you get to that level, like it's so much appreciation, guys. Like, and that's why I'm glad to, like I said, instead of me trying to follow someone I grew up with, instead of me trying to take the easy way out, like shit, I'm like, nah, like I don't, like I said, guys, that's me. Like growing up, like so I really had nobody to look up to. I just seen people just do a bunch of crazy shit, and like I knew what I didn't want to do. If you guys see my intro video, like I knew what I didn't want to do instantly. I'm like, why the hell would I want to be in the streets? And like I only see guys like, and once again, I grew up playing basketball in the streets, and I used to see most of the cats I grew up with. I just stopped seeing them after 3 days or after 3 years, and I'm like, damn, what happened to so and so? I'm like, oh yeah, you ain't heard so and so got locked up and so and so got killed. Like that's by me growing up seeing this, and I'm like, you're like, why would I want that life? Like if you're gonna have a good summer or two, but after 1 or 2 summers, like that's when either somebody gonna snitch on you or you gonna, you know, or someone gonna backdoor you. And it's just like, guys, like fuck that, man. The point is to just try to, you know, try to live, like I said, a legal life. Like I said, you know, lead the streets to, like I said, leave the streets for the people that's in the streets. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but it's always a right path for you. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy, but it's always gonna be a right path for you. But it's most of the initiative that's gonna come on. It's gonna bear on your responsibility, guys. Like that's why I always advocate for, once you understand what you want to do in life. You know, I don't care what it is, like education wise, but you know, once you stay locked in, you commit to a long term. And like I said, guys, you don't really lose. The only way people lose is just by thinking that like they should have something or they shouldn't have something based on what someone else told them or what someone like. You just gotta stop comparing yourself, because it eventually gets to a point where it's just like, yo, like, you know, I think the old saying, you know, comparison is the thief of joy. I feel like that is true, because it's, you know, like I said, how someone else grew up, guys. That's why I respect people's perspective. You know, like I mentioned earlier, guys, someone that had a different route than me, maybe they're way past me, but like, guys, I feel like regardless of how you grew up, there's probably something for you to learn what to do and what not to do. And everybody has like I feel like everybody has something that they know they shouldn't do as you get older. You feel what I'm saying? But you know, I feel like as you get older, you got to realize like no one's going to really hold you by the hand. You know, hopefully if you guys had, you know, parents growing up that, like I said, taught you right from wrong, even if you didn't, guys, like whatever happened. But eventually, I feel like you guys should have, like I said, a gateway of what not to go back to based on what you've seen. You feel what I'm saying? But like, you know, but yeah, guys, I just want to hop on here and talk with y'all for a little bit. I'm probably gonna have some calls to jump to next week, but guys, I'm gonna enjoy the holidays, but keep rocking and rolling. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.